With every video game that comes out, or movie or TV show, there's bound to be a fan base created to show their love about the game, show, or whatever type of media it is, such as horror games like Five Nights at Freddy's, or adventure games like Undertale, with the latter being a series that I covered in 3 cohesive parts on this discussion series, and Undertale for a future topic. So how does this relate to today's video? Well, like I said, with every game there comes a fan base, and that fan base dedicates their love by showing animations, artwork, even creating their OCs, sometimes being recolored, cough cough, and whatever else, even making mods or additions to games if the game is, viable for mods. Undertale is a great example of this with fan-made bosses that they make every now and then, and with Five Nights at Freddy's it's no different, except it's not exactly mods and more of their own spin-off slash recreations slash copycats. So that's our topic for today's video. We're going to be going over Five Nights at Freddy's fan games. I may not cover all of them because there is a lot to talk about, but I'll only cover a little bit in this list, so do not get upset if I don't talk about one that you like. Hopefully you enjoy this, and we'll just jump into this rabbit hole of Five Nights at Freddy's fan games and a little bit about them later on at the second to last section of the video, so let's just jump into it. Five Nights at Flumptys was published on February 1st, 2015 by the developer Warios and Mario, who is the founder of Team Cybap/Scientix, a team of people that help test, draw, code, and work on the Five Nights at Flumptys games, or other non-Five Nights at Flumptys projects too. Yeah, I said it franchise, but we aren't gonna go over every game in the franchise, only the first one. So you play as Knuckles, and Luigi is your phone guy here, and well, it's basically Five Nights at Freddy's 1. But I mean, that's okay, because the reason that this game is even created is because it's based off a little joke between him and his friends that the FNAF gang were hiding in an office from Sonic.exe. Remember that creepypasta? Yeah. I don't either. So they basically took this concept and added Sega characters to it, and maybe some Mario characters to it, because according to the wiki that they had drawing limitations. So that's why you have, Freddy being replaced with Sonic, Bonnie being replaced with Mario with bunny ears, Yoshi replacing Chica, and then Tails being Foxy. And then of course you have your Golden Sonic of the game. That was the basic closed door, check on Foxy type of deal like Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Like I said, this game is a joke. There's not much to it, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. So because of that, I understand, and so I'm going to be rating the game. Yeah, I'm going to be rating every game on this list from 1 through 5. I don't need to explain why I give the ratings that. So this game is going to get a 1. Alright, so maybe this was short. So how about we just go over the second game? The second game was made on April 16, 2015. That became another joke game, but with at least some passion put into it. It was supposed to have more AIs, which would slow the game down and also break things, so they kind of scrapped a couple of ideas like a Tails doll animatronic. So the game is... oh my gosh, damn it, it's just Five Nights at Freddy's 2 again. At least we got some originality to the characters this time-ish. The Mangle version is basically Tangle, the female version of Tails. Although Cream the Bunny would be technically the female equivalent according to the Sonic, world. I don't know. I'm not versed in the Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, so I guess that could have been a thing, but you know what? I'm not the one who made this game. And then the marionette being Luigi's dead corpse. And I'm just kidding, no it's not. That's what everyone thought at the time, but no, it's a memorial to him, although it is a little bit creepy. And then the Balloon Boy character being Balloon Toad. Yeah. Wani and Mario took a knowing character, Toad, and then mixed it with another annoying character, Balloon Boy, and he made Balloon Toad. Isn't that lovely? That actually is. I'll applaud the originality there. So, overall the game is just Five Nights at Freddy's 2 again, mask, flashlight, mechanics and stuff. There's a secret night 8. I guess that's a little bit to the story, but other than that though, it's just the same thing. So I'll give this one a 2 out of 5 only because of the Balloon Toad animatronic. Maybe we can move on to something a little more exciting, shall we? Night At Flumptys. This game was created by Jonachrome in January 2015, and then it was taken down for a little bit of time, and then it was re-uploaded on February 8th, 2016. I'll explain a little bit more on this game and Jonachrome a little later, but for now, the game is very much well known for its absurdity in both the art and the characters themselves, and even this game has its own little phone call, even though, again, it's just one night. Now, don't let your eyes deceive you. Flumpty may be a wholesome character, Flumpty Bumpty sat on the wall, then he had a great big fall. I mean, I'm sure he's not exactly scary. Oh god. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna eat scrambled eggs ever again. Not just that, right, but the environment that you're pretty much surviving is pretty much weird, and I say pretty much a lot, pretty much. Like, why is Winnie the Pooh split in half over there? Why are there eyes on the bed? Why is there a hole in the office? And the most important question, why is there beaver on the toilet? Well, thankfully, I have the answers for all of those. Firstly, again, as you can obviously tell, this game is just the obvious parody of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I mean, just the layout is obvious, and the office itself, besides the hole in the wall. Speaking of the hole in the wall, it's because a character comes out of there, and that character is called Grunkfist the Clown. At around 4 a.m., the face of this clown will slowly arise from that hole, and he gets closer every time you pull up the monitor. And if you pull it up way too many times, he'll eventually jump out and kill you. So basically, you had to make sure you don't use the camera too much. But at the same time, you gotta make sure you use the camera every once in a while to check whether the beaver on that toilet is gonna attack. By the way, that beaver on the toilet is Foxy in this game, and if he puts down that newspaper, that means that he's ready to attack you. And if he's gone, you better close that right side door, otherwise you're dead. And lastly, that pit of eyes exists because, well, it's basically an indicator of how many camera uses you have left. So one eye closes every time you use up the camera, until eventually it becomes blackness, and then you pull down your camera to get game ended. This game isn't really that much. Again, it's just one night, and although it is, like I just said, a parody of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, because a lot of these games often parody Five Nights at Freddy's 1, I'll give it some credit where it's due, because it at least has a new mechanic, like limiting your camera usage, because that's something that most fan games often don't do. They mostly just copy the simple door, flashlight, or mask mechanics, but with some of these fan games around this time, like 2015 time, they at least added some original mechanics, so I'll give John Chrome that. So I'll give this game a 3 out of 5. So let's see, let's crack another one and get to, okay, you know what, that was a terrible transition. Let's just roll on to the next game, shall we? Five Nights at Warios. Created by Wario on January 6, 2015, it's a game that involves obviously Mario characters, and although many other fan games at the time would also involve Mario characters, this one probably did it the best, just like Five Nights at Sonic's as well. So the game basically functions as, it's Five Nights at Freddy's 1 again, what a surprise! So all you're really dealing with is just Wario, Waluigi, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Mario, with the first 4 mentioned characters being the normal go to the door and then you close it on them characters and they go away, and then Mario being Golden Freddy, except this time he doesn't crash your game. So he'll appear on the monitor, and then if he gets close enough to your monitor, he'll show up in your room, so you gotta pull up your camera, otherwise he kills you. The game is just Five Nights at Freddy's 1 again. There's not really much to it. You're in a spaghetti factory that's abandoned. Not sure why exactly you need to be there, because nothing even happens story-wise to this game, so I'll just give it a 2 out of 5. That's really short again, so why not we just look at the second game, because there is a second game to this, franchise. The second Five Nights at Warios game would be created on October 8, 2015, with very different mechanics that weren't exactly also seen around this time before. Firstly, you're in a warehouse that has been built on the burnt remains of an original warehouse that left the corpses of various ghosts around there. So now you have new phases like Toad and Bowser to deal with. So firstly, you have no doors like Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and in order to survive from these ghosts, you had to hide in the back room where there's also a generator. If someone shows up in your room, just hide in the back room and do not touch the generator. Do not do anything, don't move, just wait until they're gone. If you don't, or make any noise, they'll immediately come after you. Also, if the power runs out completely, you're also dead because you can't check up on anything. Now, regarding these new characters, Toad is basically the Foxy of this game. You need to check the tool closet every now and then, and while yes, the cameras are dark, there are thunder and lightning strikes every now and then that basically light up the entire place. So if that happens, you'll see light in some of the dark cameras. So it'll show you that whether Toad is sitting in the closet, he's out of the closet, or he's not in the room at all. If he's not in the room at all, you need to immediately hide in the back room, otherwise he'll eventually come after you. The rest of the other guys basically just show up to your door only when there's lightning strikes, because that's the only time they ever attack you, and you'll just hide and then just wait for them to be gone. Regarding the game, it's kind of just a simple hide and then wait for the animatronic and then hide and wait for the animatronic. Actually, no, they're not animatronics, they're ghosts, like I said, but other than that though, it's kind of meh. I mean, at least it has something new to it, like hiding, which most of the games in Five Nights at Freddy's fan games games often don't have, or they have it in very convoluted and a little bit flawed ways. But nonetheless though, oh look, there's Yoshi. Anyway, other than that though, the game is just mediocre at best, so I'll probably give it a 2 out of 5. I don't know, I don't feel generous with it. You have to deal with 7 nights, and the game is glitchy and buggy sometimes, so I'm not forgiving. Alright then, let's just move on to another thing for the 3rd time. The Joy of Creation, created by Nixon on November 30th, 2015. The game is pretty much the first ever free roam game to ever come across as a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game, which is a big achievement. Well, around this time anyway, although this isn't exactly a free roam, because until it got the Reborn edition, the original Joy of Creation was just the survival mode, so it basically just had you facing off against Ignited, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy, and it's pretty much bare bones, nothing much to it. You failed me, Nixon. How dare you? I'll just give it a 1 out of 5 just so we can make this quick. But like I said, there was a Reborn edition of it, so we'll actually go over that. The Reborn version came out on May 15, 2016, and it offered 4 different game modes and a secret level to play in the museum thingy. Each mode had you basically in various locations running from a different animatronic trying to find a couple of posters, objects, and etc. under a time limit, and if you didn't get in that time limit, you'd immediately fail the level. So in Freddy's level, you must not be in his sight, and you're running from him in a house that's kind of squarish, and there's not really many dead ends, but as long as you don't get caught, you're fine, because he'll outrun you one way or another. In Bonnie's level, you're in a basement maze, and there are a lot of dead ends for you to find, and very much he'll outrun you and kill you if he sees you. In Foxy's level, you actually start off in an attic and he immediately spawns right in front of you, and you have to use your flashlight in order to paralyze him, but only when his pupils are white. If his pupils are red, you'll immediately be attacked, because that is when he can't exactly be affected by the light. And then lastly, Chica, you have to face off against in the forest, and she's basically slender. As long as you don't stray off the path too much, or you don't keep your eyes on her, then you're kind of fine. And you also have to collect 8 pages or something like that. I don't know, I didn't play Slender. The game is actually a big step ahead, because like I said, it is free roam, and many fan games, especially the original Five Nights at Freddy's itself, didn't have free roam until like Sister Location. I mean, I guess you could say the thing for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, but I really don't. But the game is pretty great, so I wouldn't exactly put it under bad game. I'd probably rate it a 3.9 out of 5. The only reason I say that is because the game kind of gets outshined by the story mode, which I won't cover, because I think I've already covered enough of this game anyways. So how about we move on to the final game in this list, shall we? And it's Five Nights at Candy's. This was also made to a franchise, and it was started on July 18, 2015 by Email Mako. I hope I said that name right and I didn't butcher it like I do with everything else in my life. He's another greatly regarded person in the Five Nights at Freddy's fan game world, with his own fan base and characters that were actually created from scratch, like Candy and Cindy the cat, a monkey, a penguin, another cat, a rat, and then an old puppet. Well, actually that puppet looks somewhat like the marionette. Anyway, this game is Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Again. But at least this time it has a little more to it, just like One Night at Flumptys did. Firstly, you have a third door, sorry, I can't count, I'm dyslexic. Secondly, there's night vision on cameras, so if you click on a camera twice, you can activate the night vision, which helps you see. Although it's really not necessary and it consumes more power, you can actually use it to spot some of the animatronics as they don't face away from the camera. In fact, you can see their pupils in the darkness, so you don't exactly need to do this. However, if they get close to your door, then it's necessary to just watch out for their pupils, and then you'd easily close the door on them. So really, the first 2 nights, you don't need to even check the cameras. You can just, sit and look at each door back and back. However, though, this doesn't exactly work for the whole nights, because there are 3 animatronics that are exceptions to this. The first animatronic spawns on night 3, and his name is Old Candy. He starts from the back room and just heads to the left side of the building, and then heads to your left door. This character does not have eyes, meaning that his eyes do not glow in the dark, so you actually have to turn on the night vision in order to spot him. If he gets to your door, you won't know unless you actually check the camera, and if you're too late, he'll instantly kill you. Another character that comes on the same night is Blank. Blank has his own camera and camera 11 or something like that, and he starts facing away from the camera. However though, if he looks at the camera, that means he's ready to attack you. If he stands in the middle of the room and is looking at you, then that means he's also ready to attack you at any time. And if he's gone from the camera in general, you need to look for it. Oh, never mind, there he is. I wondered. Damn it. Yeah, if you look at the camera, it immediately stop you and you can't put it down, making you watch him break into your office immediately. And yes, that is glass, as he broke through it, as the phone guy tells you that they actually had to install a door there in order to make sure that it doesn't break again. That's lovely, isn't it? And then the last animatronic that's an exception to the night vision rule is Rat. Same thing as Old Candy, he doesn't have eyes, then he just shows up on the right or the left side of your building, and then he gets to the door. And if you're not careful, he'll immediately kill you. Also, after every night there's a cutscene, so I guess that's cool to the story. There was also a remastered version of it, but I'm not gonna go over it. And there are even more games in this franchise, but I felt like I've gone on a little bit too long in this, mostly just because of rambling. Final Fantasy Candies 1 is kind of the beginning, and on its own, it was already like a fan base starter, because, you know, there's like subcultures and subcultures of cultures. So Final Fantasy Phrase had a fan base that had this, you know, little fan base that made its own fan base, and it's kind of getting meta now, isn't it? There's also a Markiplier Easter egg. I guess that's cool and all. Other than that though, this game is pretty much a-okay. So I wouldn't really say it's bad, so I'd probably give it a 3.9 out of 5, just like I did with the Joy of Creation. And that's every fan game on this list. And now we move on to the second to last subsection of this video, where I talk about the creators and the fan bases behind these fan games, and a wary caution to those who want to make their own. So let's get into it. So kids, what did we learn today? Well, we learned that fan games are pretty much fun, or they're pretty much unoriginal, and not only that, right, but we also took a look at the game developers and learned that as long as you're not exactly, killing yourself mentally, then you can make a fan game. Either that, or unless you just want to do it for fun, then go right ahead, and that you don't exactly need to appeal to everyone, but, a fan game is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful or negative in any way. So that's Final Fantasy fan games for you in the most basic way possible, because like I mentioned at the start of the video, there's a lot out there and I barely covered the surface of fan games. So hopefully you like this video. If you want me to talk about more, then I'm gonna make this video get 10 likes, and if it gets 10 likes I will talk about more. Yeah, I know, I set it to a number that'll never be reached. So thank you so much for watching. Stay inside like you usually do. I don't need to worry because I do that every day. So have a good day or night or wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Later.